نقاء وحبا لكل البشر كشوق الليالي لضوء القمر.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes, hi.
Wait, I don't understand how you're like I'm anti-theistic, right? I don't believe in religion. I don't believe any religion is good. But like, how can you claim that like Christianity is bad, but then you're Muslim?
I didn't say Christianity is bad. I said it's false.
Yeah, and that in that way, then like, religion is false. I don't care about religion. I don't care for it. I just want to come up here and see that you're kind of like, it's kind of hypocritical, you know?
It would be hypocritical if that was true or if that was the case, but it's not.
So because, oh my god, but like your religion, you get forced to wear hijabs, all this bullshit, and every single religion.
Am I being forced?
Is it paganism?
Wait, so I'm being forced to wear it, but I'm
No,
coming
but
on here of my own free volition?
If you choose the weird stuff, why am I stuttering? Because of
Why what?
like comments.
Oh, why are you stuttering?
But, yeah.
I have a question.
Well, I mean, I asked you a question. Am I being forced to wear this right now and come on camera and talk to you?
No, I've got a question.
No, but can you answer mine first?
Okay, answer her question.
Okay, I never said you're being forced, but
Wait, there's two of you?
Muslims- yeah.
Oh, okay, sorry. Go ahead. You guys sound the
I have a
same.
question. Why do Muslims have to like cover their whole face or body? Like general question. Like why?
Okay. Well, actually, there's a difference of opinion as to why it's the case, if it's the case that a woman has to cover her face or not. I'm covering my face now because I just don't want to show my face on TikTok. People do weird things, right? But generally speaking, right, the scholars that say things like, covering of the face is required during times where there is going to be what we call fitna, right? Times where there is massive deceptions and, abhorrent acts being done and people just lusting and all of these types of things. These are bad things and they should be things that should be, controlled
But
as
why
much
should
as
women
possible.
cover up?
Men
and
have to
men
cover
just
up
can't
too.
control?
No, men have to cover up as well, but they have a different form of covering up. Okay.
Bro, what is wrong with being lesbian? Why are people calling me lesbian in the comments as an insult? I don't...
Can we focus up here and not the comments? Guys, chill out in the comments or I'm going to turn them off.
Thanks.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. So, again, these are commands that we believe come from God, though, right? And obviously, under a paradigm where we believe in an all-knowing creator, we obviously think that he is going to know better for us than we would know for ourselves, right? Similar to like how you would grow up and your mom tells you like, don't go with a stranger. Maybe to you, the stranger is like, giving you candy and all this stuff, but you don't realize, maybe the negatives of actually accepting that candy from the stranger, but your mom does. Yes.
Okay, wait, you did make a good point.
Yeah.
That's a very good point, actually.
I have a question.
Sure.
What's the whole like? Is it actually like properly fully a sin to be gay in Islam? And also, why is it a sin to be gay, but because it's seen as lustful, but straight relationships are fine, even though there's lust in that, and they have to cover up because of lust?
I got you. So it's not actually sinful to quote unquote be gay. It is sinful to act upon it. Okay.
But then why is it not sinful for a straight relationship to act on it?
It's also sinful for a straight relationship if it's the case that this relationship is not a marriage recognized under Islam. It would also be sinful.
Sorry for interrupting, but what if the lesbian or gay relationship, what if they are married?
There's no marriage that's recognized of that case in Islam. Marriage in Islam is between a man and a woman. So it wouldn't be a case where you can recognize a marriage of that sort.
But why is like gay marriage not acceptable in Islam?
In the same way that you just asked me the other question about why it's the case we cover our faces, there is going to be a sort of wisdom that wouldn't necessarily, even though some people may see that there's some sort of benefit, they get to be with the person that they think they love and all of these things, and this is the person that they want to be with. They may not see the negatives or the harm in a relationship like this, right? I could give you an example in both ways, right?
Yeah.
Between a man and a man, obviously we know that certain, acts that are performed can open up the two individuals to very harmful things in the future, correct? Okay. And between a woman and a woman, let's just say the two of them are out together and all of these different things at night, whatever, and, somebody comes up to one of them and tries to harass them or anything of the sort, a man, right? Neither of the two of them is going to be able to handle a man, right? The average woman isn't going to be able to protect the other average woman,
So
right,
men
against
are
an
the
average man.
problem.
It's not that men are the problem. I'm just giving you two different examples, right? Naturally speaking, when we talk about protection, we're talking about a man who protects a woman, right? A woman is not going to be able to protect a woman from another man, right? It's just not logically there.
But what if a female is dating a disabled man who can't protect the woman? Then can they not
Sorry?
be together? So then what if a woman's dating a disabled man, so the man then can't protect the woman? Is that seen as different or...
No, because there are still other rights and such that the man is going to be able to fulfill that a woman cannot, right? So, look, to put it for you this way, or put it simply, Islam has specific principles that is laid out, okay? Between a woman and a woman, this principle is not allowed for whatever specific wisdoms or reasons there is behind it. In the same way that I told you the example of the stranger in the candy bar with the mother, right? Now, just because we don't know all of these different wisdoms behind it doesn't mean that it's something that we should still do or act on, right? So to your actual question, your original question, we don't believe that being gay or thinking that one is gay or anything of the sort is sinful. But we believe that the person who does this act and publicizes it, meaning that other people are witnessing it and such, that in and of itself is something which is punishable. Now, if they do it in private, it's still sinful, but it's not something where they could be punished for it.
Yeah.
You understand?
So basically the whole basically any person of any religion using like homophobia even towards people of no religion is just pure homophobia, and it's not like them putting it on basically sins and saying it's a sin. It's not actually fully a sin. It's do you get what I'm trying to say?
The act itself is a sin. So if somebody's saying something quote unquote homophobic to somebody, the only way that they would be able to know this is if it's the case that the person themselves is going around and publicizing the idea that they're gay, or if they're actually witnessed as right, or witnessed doing a particular action, which would be considered homosexual, right?
Yeah.
Right.
So but I still don't get it, because if it's a whole lust thing, then what if it was like an asexual relationship, for example, an asexual gay relationship? There's zero lust there. They have like no like physical attraction, just romantic attraction. Is it still a sin?
Like I said, there's no relationship that can be had between two individuals that is not legislated within Islam. The only type of relationship that is legislated within Islam is between a man and a woman. Two consenting male and female adults, right?
I still don't get it, because it doesn't really matter if it's like two consenting adults, whether whatever gender they are. Like, what if it's an intersex person and they have
Well,
both?
so that's different. So this falls under a different qualification. It's not the same thing as, because an intersex person doesn't identify as both sexes. You understand that, right? They are born with both parts, but eventually they do end up identifying with one sex or the other. You understand?
So neither is correct. Like, if they're a male or a female.
What do you mean neither is correct? Well, eventually they would end up, identifying with either being a male or being a female. To which case, if they identify as being a male and they continue with that, and that's what the doctors say that they predominantly lean towards, that's where their hormones are showing and so on. Because intersex is not just, that they are both things. They're not both things. They may carry the parts of one or the other, but they are still one thing, right? And they essentially, right, if they are told that they are more male-leaning and so on, then they would identify as a male moving forward, and they would have to marry a female, and vice versa for the female.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fair enough. I don't get the whole like like how when people like what gets to my brain is when people say it's lust, but then when you mention an asexual relationship, they completely go off the lust thing and they go through. It's mainly I'm more bothered about the whole Christianity thing.
Well,
Like,
I'm not Christian, so but it's
yeah,
not the issue
it's
is not simply just lust. Lust in general
mm,
in a relationship that is not permitted in Islam. So even if it's just boyfriend and girlfriend, it's still not allowed.
yeah, that's fair enough. I'm not that educated on Islam. It's mainly just Christianity that I get confused with the whole like
Well,
homosexuality thing. 'Cause
we
it's
all
not.
get confused with Christianity in general. It's not just
Yeah,
the homosexuality thing.
yeah.
But do you know anything about Islam? Is there anything that you know that you want to maybe ask
Um,
about?
I know kind of about the morals, and I also I know about the morals. I don't know much about the history of Islam, and um,
Okay.
that's basically all I know. Morals. I have my morals. I have questions towards Islamic morals, Christian morals, but I haven't dig deep enough into the religions because I like more like other religions better.
Okay. Well, it's not really about what we like or don't like at the end of the day, right? We want to go with what's true, correct?
Yeah.
Okay. So, putting our feelings aside of what we like or don't like, we want to know whether or not Islam is true. Okay. So, it's not going to come from the morals or aspect or anything of the sort. It's going to come based off of the things that we can prove within the religion. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So, how do you think, or firstly, I think you said you're an anti theist, but you also said you
Oh no,
like other,
that was the girl who
oh, the
owns
other
the
girl.
account.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you do believe in God?
I personally don't believe in a god, not because I don't think that I don't think that there could be a god. I also don't think that there couldn't be a god. I don't really bother with religion. I have my own morals and my own
Well, where do you
beliefs.
get your morals from?
Well, I've kind of just empathy really. I don't really have a religion or anything. I just go with
Okay.
what I believe.
Well, let's go with what you're saying then. Imagine, right, somebody else comes along with a different set of morals to you, but they say that they're also getting it from their empathy or, from themselves. Okay. Who's
Mm.
going to be right in that situation? Who should we take from?
No one, everyone has their own morals.
Okay, so if let's say we have Ted Bundy. Ted Bundy has his own morals, and he thinks what he's
That's
doing is
wrong.
right.
That I
Oh, but
think that's what
see,
I'm trying I think that's what I'm trying to get at. Like the
hmm
whole, I can definitely agree. There is good parts to Islam, good parts to Christianity, but the bad parts are the hidden misogyny and homophobia. I'm not saying that Islam and like Christianity is like homophobic and misogynistic. There's definitely levels to that, but there's a lot of people that definitely are misogynistic and homophobic, and
yeah,
that's
but
kind of the
the
things.
people are not representative of the religion, right? People could be bad
Mm,
people. That doesn't mean that that's what the religion is teaching, right? But back to the example I was telling you, right? Notice
mm,
that how if everybody just has their own morals, you can't actually hold anybody accountable because they're doing what they see is right in their mind. You
mm.
understand?
I think so.
Right. So we want something that's objective, something that applies to all people. Yes.
Mm.
Do you understand why?
I think some morals can be wrong, and that's kind of why I'm against like some people's beliefs because the morals are completely different to mine, and
Right. Okay.
it's inhumane sometimes.
Let me put it for you this way, right? As Muslims or even Christians or Jews or anything of the sort, all three of
Mm,
these beliefs believe that their morals come from an all-knowing creator. Now,
mm,
how do we go about substantiating if it's truly coming from this all-knowing creator? Is by validating or coming to the conclusion of whether or not the religion is true. Okay. But their basis for why they believe it's, correct or incorrect is based off of something, solid. You understand? Whereas somebody
mm.
appealing to themselves, that's not actually going to be solid because a person could die the next day and their quote unquote morals are gone. Yes.
I guess so. I don't think I'm against actual like religions. I'm more against the built beliefs on modern day religions.
What do you mean?
Like, for example, you see a lot of misogyny and homophobia in Christianity, especially that verse. What was that verse like? Man shall not lay with boy, or whatever. And I think a lot of people misunderstand that verse, and they internalize it, and then they output it as something that it's not. And I think that's a problem with a lot of religions, and I think it's kind of bad for people to output it as something it's not.
Okay, but
And
even that verse, right? Notice it's talking about the action. It's not talking about the individual themselves, right?
it says man shall not lay with boy. That's man and boy, not
I
man
don't
and
believe
man.
that that's what it says. Let me pull it up. Yeah, so in Leviticus 18:22, it says, and with a male not you shall lie, the lyings of a woman an abomination it is. So in the Hebrew it says that you will not lie with a male the way that you would lie with a female. It's not it's not saying man shall not lie with boy. And in the regular English as well, it says, do not have sexual relations with a man
yeah,
as
that's
one
true.
does with a woman.
Yeah, I think people post about that a lot. Like I said, I don't know much about religions. I just have questions on the morals.
Yeah. Well, look, like I said, putting the morals to the side, because morals in case of religion would be secondary. The only way we would know or accept the set of morals to be true and what we should believe in and follow is if it's the case the religion itself is true. Do you understand? Otherwise, there's no reason for you to believe them. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to know whether or not Islam is true via some sort of objective means. We put morals to the side now, okay? So we want to come to a conclusion of whether or not God exists first, since you said you don't believe in God. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So you, as a human being, you come from another set of human beings, correct?
Yes.
Okay, and those humans come from other humans and so on and so forth till whatever, the beginning. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we have the universe. The universe is something that did not always exist the way that it did, right? We know that, this second right now is not the same as the next second later because the universe is expanding, correct?
Yes.
So we're talking about, or we're describing changes right now. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the changes that we're talking about are going to be what we call essential changes, meaning that the what the thing is changing over time. All right. So the universe is something that changes essentially because of the fact that it's expanding. Its size, right, is changing.
Yeah.
Right, and the things within it are also changing. Yes. So there must be something outside of it that can explain this change to it. You understand?
Yeah.
All right. So if we take all of the things that change, we put them into a box, right? And we call this box B, right? Box B is the set of all things that change. And then we have outside of box B something that explains why it's the case box B is changing. You understand?
Oh, that's like basically with the whole Big Bang theory, people wonder, well, where did that atom come from?
Right. So that's what we're trying to figure out, right? So if we know that the things that change go in this box, then we need something that doesn't change essentially outside of the box to explain the box. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. So for it to not change, that means that it always had to exist. Because if it stops existing, that's also a change, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, good. And if it's the case it stops being what it is, that's also a change, yes?
Yeah.
Okay. And if it has something else to explain its existence, then that means it's not the thing that we're looking for and it would actually be in this box, right?
Yeah. But
So-
I have a question.
Go ahead.
Why do you think that there's something outside of the universe when the universe is constantly expanding?
Because of the fact that it changes.
But what is the change scientifically? What
It's
is the
expanding.
change?
The universe is expanding.
So-
And the
But-
universe is also defined by its parts. So the definition of universe, right, is all existing matter in space.
There's the reason why the universe speeds up though is because of dark energy.
I didn't say anything about speeding up. I said it's changing in size.
Yeah, it's expanding
Yeah.
because of dark energy. I mainly believe in science. I get where you're coming from.
Sure.
But why do you think that there's a higher being that's creating that force?
I'm getting to it. Okay. So far, we have the universe in box B here. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're trying to figure out what's outside of box B to explain it. Right.
Uh-huh.
So far, we've agreed that this thing outside of box B has to be necessary. Okay. And it has to have always existed. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So Nothing in box B can be the explanation. Whatever it is that's out here, that's going to be the explanation. So we said it's necessary. We said it's eternal, right? It's always existed. Now, we also need to know how it's the case it can even cause for box B to exist. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Meaning it has to have some sort of awareness of itself and the things outside of it, correct?
I guess so.
Okay. Because if it's the case it breaks off a piece of itself in order to create these other things, that means it changes, yes?
I guess so.
And if it changes, it goes back to being in box B and it's no longer the thing we're talking about, yes?
I don't really understand because you keep going box A, box B, and like what is box B? What's box A?
Box B is all the stuff that changes. Box A is the necessary thing that we're talking about. Okay, and
Okay,
box
so-
box A is going to explain for us the existence of box B.
Okay, so what is box A? What's the explanation?
We've agreed so far it's necessary and it's eternal. We're still explaining box A.
This seems all like philosophical though. It doesn't really sound.
is
like
philosophical.
there's a God. So you said it was true. How can it be completely 100% true if it's completely philosophical?
Philosophy, you could derive truths from philosophy by deductive and abductive arguments and so on.
But what about that? I forgot the name of the philosophical theory. But if all philosophy theories are true, then there's a philosophy theory that people think that rocks are sentient.
I didn't say all philosophical theories are true. This isn't a theory, right? I'm giving you an argument step by step, and I'm asking you the question step by step so that you could challenge it. If you find something wrong with what I'm saying, then you could challenge that. You understand?
Okay.
But if everything I'm saying so far makes sense, then there's no reason to challenge it, right?
Yeah.
Right. So that's what I'm doing. That's why I'm going step by step with you. You understand?
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. So far, we've said it's necessary and it's eternal. And we came to that conclusion via what we understand change to be. Yes?
I guess. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, give me 1 second. All right. So, let's continue. So, necessary, eternal, and we want to know whether or not, we want to know how it even allowed for box B to come into existence. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay. So, in order for it to do that, it has to be able to have some sort of power, correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I get where you're coming from the whole it doesn't come from nothing thing, but I feel like nothing can be 100% true because, I mean, science isn't completely perfect, and
I'm not using science.
yeah, I know you're not using science. This is just an example. Science can't be completely true because there's multiple things that we don't believe, and
We're using logic. Logic
religion-
can bring us to a truthful conclusion. Right, so we're using logic.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to continue or no?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like I was saying, if it has power, right, that's an attribute that we can give to this thing, right?
Yeah.
And now we want to know if it can direct this power. Yes, meaning it's able to act on things outside of itself. You understand?
Yeah. So you're basically saying that box A is a being and box B is everything we are now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of get where you're coming from because I definitely agree. Like, my point of view on faith, for example, not necessarily in a religion, I don't know where life comes from. I don't know why we have consciousness. I don't know why the universe is what it is. I think my kind of point is I don't understand why people decide. I mean, I get it, but I also don't. But why people follow something that's not exactly 100% proved.
But I am proving it to you right now, right? And I can prove it
think
to you. I can prove it to you in an easier way. Okay, let's put that argument to the side. All right. So in Islam, we have proofs of the religion via things like prophecies. Okay. Do you know what a prophecy is?
I think so.
Basically, an individual claims to receive some sort of, divine revelation where they're getting information about the future. Okay. And they're saying that XYZ event is going to occur in the future. And we wait for the event to happen. If it happens, the prophecy was true. If it doesn't happen, the prophecy was false. It's different from a prediction because a prediction A prediction is when somebody collects data and evidence to be able to come to the conclusion that they're making. So, for example, the difference between the two, right? If I say to you now, right, on May 8th, 2073, Thailand is going to go to war with Russia and it is going to, drop an atom bomb on Moscow. Okay. That I don't have any evidence for that, right? I literally just made it up off the top of my head, right? Okay. But obviously, if I was claiming to be a prophet, this prophet is claiming that they'd be receiving this information from God and so on, right? And then a prediction is like, for example, somebody who, does the weather or anything of the sort, and they go and look at the clouds and they test the clouds to see whether or not it's going to rain tomorrow. They're going based off of data and evidence to be able to come to the conclusion that there's a 50% chance of rain tomorrow. Yes.
Can you provide to me the data and evidence for a god to be real though? Like not just in history, just in general, what
That's what I'm doing.
proves there to be a god?
That's what I'm doing. Okay. So these prophecies, right, the more that we have of them, the less likely it is that the individual would be able to be telling the truth every single time one of them is getting fulfilled, or be able to accurately come to that conclusion every single time without mistake. You understand?
I get what you're saying though, but you're saying that Islam is the true religion that only exists, but you could say that for basically all religions. There has been predicaments and predictions that they've been correct, if you get what I mean.
Right, but if it's the case that it's not every single time, then it would not be correct. So, for example, with Christianity, there are false prophecies. With Judaism, there are false prophecies. In their scripture itself, there are contradictions and mistakes that wouldn't be representative of an all-knowing creator. You understand?
Can you give me an example of something that Islam has said would happen, but did happen?
Of course, yeah. So the Prophet, peace be upon him, 1400 years ago, Muhammad, peace be upon him, he predicted that the barefoot, naked Arab Bedouins would compete with one another in building tall buildings. Okay.
Yeah.
So obviously today, do you know where the tallest building in the world is?
Is that the one in Dubai?
It is the one in Dubai, the Burj
Burj
Khalifa.
Khalifa, yeah.
Yes. Do you know where the third tallest building is in the world?
Empire State?
No, not even close now.
Oh.
The third,
what is it?
So the third tallest building is the clock tower in Mecca, in Saudi Arabia. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And in Saudi Arabia as well, they're also trying to build a building taller than that of the one that's in Dubai, the Burj Khalifa. You understand?
Yeah.
So what we see, and other Arab countries as well, they're also trying to build these very tall buildings. What we're seeing is that these individuals who less than 50 to 100 years ago didn't have this money to be able to do this are all of a sudden competing to build these tall buildings.
Okay. I have a question. I've just come up with something. So it's like, obviously, it's like philosophically proven, and like in society, if someone says we're going to build tall buildings, that's going to be what they're set on. Couldn't that literally just be caused because they said, oh, there's gonna be a war of tall buildings or whatever, and then that's what they end up doing because someone said that before?
Good question. Now here's the problem, okay, is that these people didn't have the supplies to be able to do this. So they didn't have the wealth, they didn't have, the means to be able to build these buildings, and it was not something that was part of their way of life. Because remember who it's talking about. It's talking about barefoot Arab Bedouins. So the Arab Bedouins were people like desert dwellers. Okay.
Yeah.
They're people who lived their life day to day. They didn't have, a tremendous amount of wealth. They were just, hunter-gatherers. They lived in huts. They didn't build these tall buildings. He could have said just generally, right, people are going to compete in building tall buildings, right? He could have said Romans are going to compete in building tall buildings, but he specifically said the Arab Bedouins. You understand?
Yeah. I mean, how long after this prophecy did they build the buildings?
This was recent. So this is about the last 50 years or so.
Yeah, so 1400 years ago. Did Muhammad say that within the last 50 years they were going to build the tall buildings? Like, is it correct time frame?
He says it's going to occur towards the end times. So, or like during the establishment of the hour, essentially. So this is one of the signs that he gives.
So basically the end of the world is going to happen soon.
Well, soon could be different from me and you. It's not the same for, God and his perspective and all of these things, right? For us, what we understand soon to be, for example, we believe that the coming of the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, itself was a sign of the end of times. And that was 1400 years ago. So it's relative.
So I still don't get it because that's just basically economic growth. People around the world have built tall buildings. Now they want to build tall buildings.
Right, but
How
this
does
was
that
not
prove the property?
this was not something that was common for the Arabs, especially not barefoot Arab Bedouins.
Yeah.
Remember when we were talking about collecting evidence and data of a people?
Yeah.
Right. So there was no evidence or data for him to collect to suggest that this is something that they actually would have been able to do.
And
understand?
now they have in the, well, I mean,
Right.
nowadays everywhere has economic growth for tall buildings, pretty much.
Not necessarily, but that's fine. Now, he also prophesied where they're going to essentially be getting this wealth from as well. Okay. So he makes a prophecy about how the earth is going to spit up its black gold. Okay.
What's that?
What is black gold? Do you know what that is?
No.
So, do you know what's black that comes out of the earth that is like very valuable?
Dirt.
Oil. Oil.
Sorry, what is it?
Oil.
Oh yeah, oil. My bad.
No
Yeah.
worries. So, do you know where Arabs are getting the majority of their wealth from?
Oil.
Oil. So he says that the earth is going to throw up or vomit its treasures of black and silver gold.
But what proved that black and silver gold was going to be oil? I think that's just kind of a.
Well, what other thing comes out of the earth that is black and we consider it to be gold? Do you know actually one of the names for oil is black gold?
Yeah. Yeah, I got cooked there. My bad. But I still think that
I could
Wait,
keep
so-
going. I could sit here and keep going with you if you'd want.
yeah, I just did black gold get named for oil like by, for example, Islamic people, or was it
No.
named by prophecy?
Oil existed prior to the Arabs, right? The Arabs weren't the first to discover oil in their area. It was something that came with the Industrial Revolution in America.
Yeah.
So oil's always existed as crude oil, right, on the surface of the earth, but for them to harvest it in that manner, this is something that came during the industrial era, if I'm not mistaken, in America.
I feel like I get what you're saying 100%. I mean, it's like definitely linked, but I feel like every example that you've named is just like revolution and of the economy and stuff. Like,
Yeah, but how would he know that, first of all, oil, right, something coming out of the ground would be so expensive, like it would be something valuable considered gold? How would he know that? If it was, they already had oil at their time, right? But it
Yeah,
wasn't something that was coming out. It wasn't something that was valuable or anything to them, right? How would he know that this was going to turn out to be something valuable?
did he describe it to be like oil though, or did he just say
He
black
says
gold?
the earth would vomit, so it's going to come out of the earth. The earth is going to vomit its treasures of gold and silver.
But how is that oil? How would he know that that's oil? Did he say it was like liquid?
What
or
else? Yeah, well, first of all, what is vomit?
something? Vomit?
Yeah, is it liquid?
Not really. It's acid, actually.
But it's also liquid. Acid is
Yeah.
liquid.
Yeah, but like it's. Did he specifically say
It specifically says vomit.
vomit? Wait, earth vomit.
Yes.
Oh, I didn't know that. Oh, okay.
He says that the earth is going to release something liquid, right? When we say that the earth is vomiting something, for example, you could also relate this to like lava coming out of a volcano, right?
Yeah.
The volcano is vomiting lava. That's normal. So
Yeah, but
it's just an
like,
expression.
Yeah, but like,
Okay.
I get what you're coming. I get
Actually,
where you're coming from.
let me put it for you this way. Have you actually seen like how oil comes out of the ground?
They like drill into the earth and shit, and then
Right, but you've seen like the videos where it's like gurgling out and it's like, a lot of it rushing out all at once?
I think so.
It's
Is it the
very
ones, like,
similar.
on the North Seas and stuff?
Yes. It's very similar to how when somebody goes to throw up, right? It just comes out all at once, correct?
Yeah.
Right. So there's no issue with the way that's being described,
But that's
right?
like the same with like lava. Like that could be black gold because like black volcano, and then like lava comes out. So couldn't it
Lava's
also
not
be like
black, and nor is it
no like
valuable.
oh sorry no like black volcano like the rocks, and then the lava that comes out is gold orange.
Yeah, but lava's not valuable. It's saying that the treasures of the earth.
I mean, if you had like a bucket of lava, I'd rather have that than a bucket of gold.
You can't
as
get
a
a bucket of lava. That's the point, is that it's destructive. It's not a treasure. Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to keep going, or?
Yeah, give me another example.
I got you. So in the Quran describes the mountains like pegs in the earth, right? That keep it stable. Yeah. Have you ever actually seen what a mountain looks like underneath the earth's surface?
No, I haven't.
I'll show you. All right. So this is an image of what a mountain would look like underneath the earth's surface, right?
Oh yeah.
The top part is obviously very, very long, but the bottom is even longer, as you can see. Yeah. And that's not the only image. We have other images of it as well, right? You can see here it goes well below the earth's surface, and sometimes it even extends more than that of the surface does, right? Yes.
Yeah.
And the Quran describes it as a peg, right? Like this is a peg, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Where we know that the peg is like a stake into the ground, right? And it says that it's used to stabilize the earthquakes and all of these types of things. So what we know, let me show you, just so you know that I'm not making anything up. Yeah. So here, the mountains, right, and the surface topography, right? So it says the mountain itself doesn't change an earthquake's fundamental magnitude, the total energy released at the source, but surface topography like mountain ridges and valleys can scatter, redirect, block, or locally amplify seismic waves, which is exactly what the Quran is describing when it comes to mountains as well, right? It says that it's, essentially, quote unquote, stabilizing the earth. You understand?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me think some other small ones. Trying to give you I don't want to give you too many. There's a lot of really good ones that are very long. I don't know if you want to listen to a long one.
No, that's fine.
No?
No, I mean yeah, no, that's fine.
Oh, you want to listen to it? Okay. Sure, let me pull it up. So this one's actually very nice because it actually has multiple details in it, right? Let me pull up the website really quick so we could read it together, okay? All right, so this is called the Siege of Baghdad Prophecy. Okay, so we'll go through the prophecy itself. It says, some of my people will, the prophet, peace be upon him, said, some of my people will descend onto low-lying grounds they will call Al-Basra, beside a river called the Tigris River, over which there will be a bridge. Its people will be numerous, and it will be one of the capital cities of the Muslims. At the end of times, the descendants of Qantura will come with broad faces and small eyes, descending on the bank of the river. The town's inhabitants will then split into 3 sections, one which will follow cattle into the desert and perish, another which will seek security for themselves and perish, while the third will put their children on their backs and fight the invaders, and they will be the martyrs. So a lot of details here, yes? He gives us a location. He tells us something else, some geographical descriptions of the location, right, where it's by a river, a specific river, and a specific bridge. He tells us that the population is going to be large particularly or predominantly Muslim, and it says that it's going to be invaded by a specific group of people with a specific phenotype as well. It says that they're going to have broad faces and small eyes, okay? And then it talks about the actual battle that they're going to go through, right? It says that these people, the Muslims that were living there, right? They're going to split into 3 groups, right? One of them is going to follow cattle into the desert and perish. Another which will seek security for themselves and perish, while the third will put their children on their backs and fight the invaders, and they will be martyrs. So all 3 of the groups essentially are gone, right? There's practically no more Muslims left in the land. You understand? Right? Because it says both of the first ones will perish, and the third one is going to be martyrs, meaning they're going to pass away. So here, we're going to go through the details now one by one. This is a map of the area it's describing. This is the Tigris River. Okay, this is modern day Baghdad, right? Or the Baghdad at the time, sorry. So this is the Tigris River. Okay, here's the bridge that it was talking about. And the gate that it's talking about would be right here by the bridge as well. The gate that's called Bab al-Basra, okay, or the door or gate of al-Basra, okay. So let's go into it. So, like I said, this will take place on low-lying ground called al-Basra by the people. It will take place next to the Tigris River. We got that check, right? There will be a bridge over the Tigris River at this point. That's check, right? The city will be a capital city for the Muslims. Baghdad itself, until today, is still a Muslim city, right? But at the time when it got taken over, obviously the people stopped being Muslim during the fulfillment of this prophecy, right? It says the city's residents will be numerous, i.e. large in number. We'll get to that. The city will be invaded by the descendants of Kantura, who are described as people having broad faces and small eyes. We'll get to that. And the final section, we'll get to that, okay? So let's go through it. All right, so this is a fulfillment, okay? So it says, those who already know about the Mongol siege of Baghdad and its historical context will look at the bullet points above and immediately be able to tell that every detail applies to this event. So let's go through it point by point. A new city will be created near the Tigris River by the Muslims. This city will become a capital city for them, eventually growing to have a large number of inhabitants. So, the only city this could be is Baghdad. It was founded in the year 762 CE as the capital of the Abbasid Caliphate and eventually grew to become one of the largest centers of knowledge and one of the largest cities in the world at the time due to its strategic location and geography. It's difficult to overstate the importance of this city as it's cited by some to be the reason for the centuries-long Islamic Golden Age. So, it's a very important city. You understand?
Yes.
Okay. As a consequence, the city's population skyrocketed, and by some estimates was the first city in history to reach over 1 million residents. So, like we said, it was going to be numerous, right? The population was going to be numerous, right? This will take place on low-lying ground called Al-Basra by the people. So Abu Dawood quotes, and this individual, he comes prior to this event happening. This event happens in around the 13th century AD. Okay, Abu Dawood comes way before that. You understand?
What is AD, like a Islamic year thing? Like
no, AD.
BC
No. AD just means after, right? So just the 13th century. So about the 1200s. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And this individual comes before that. Okay. And it says that he quotes an isnad reaching another individual that comes before him, where he says that close to the gates of Baghdad is an area called Bab al-Basra. Remember what he says, that it's going to happen near Al-Basra, right? And the meaning of Bab al-Basra is the door or gate of Al-Basra. Okay, so there we have another point that the Prophet, peace be upon him, has also said in the hadith, right? Or in the prophecy. Then it says it will take place next to the Tigris River. A portion of the river is contained within the borders of Baghdad, as we saw in the picture, right? There will be a bridge over the Tigris River at this point. Due to the city containing a portion of the river within its borders, a bridge was built to connect the two portions of the city to one another. And as we saw in the image, right, this is the city. Here's a little part of the city over here, and the rest of it is over here, right? And this river is broken. It breaks it up, so there's a bridge between the two of them. Okay. Yeah. Then it could do. Well, I spoiled the next part, but it says the city will be a capital city for the Muslims. As we said, the inhabitants became very large, right? The cities will be numerous, i.e. large in numbers. We already saw that. Now, this is the important part. So it says, this city will be invaded by the descendants of Kantura, who are the people described as having broad faces and small eyes. So people who will look like this, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And it continues, right? Surprisingly, the prophecy even states the ethnicity of the invaders and what they look like. This exactly describes the Mongol phenotype, as they are a Central Asian people with broad faces and small eyes. Of course, the Mongol Empire was ruled by the Mongolian people. The final section heavily implies that the Muslims will lose and be slaughtered. The Mongols built walls around the city during their attack, and this was for two reasons. One, to protect their siege engines, and secondly, to prevent any defenders from escaping and surviving. Once they entered the city, they killed everyone they could find, and nobody was spared except for the Christians and people who were working with the Mongols to begin with, like a Tulsi. It's an individual, okay? This is almost universally considered when the Islamic Golden Age ended, as the historical capital city of Baghdad, with over 1 million inhabitants, was completely destroyed and depopulated. Baghdad and the Muslims as a whole would never fully recover from this. As we can see, the hadith contains a prophecy so specific that it could not be mistaken for any event other than the Mongol siege of Baghdad. And what we see historically is that this is actually what happens in that time period. It was fulfilled point by point by point in that time. You understand? And there's no other event that occurred like this one in the history of Baghdad with this specific description.
Yeah.
You see?
I mean, that's a very good explanation of people that explain religion, like prophecy and stuff like that. And I definitely agree there's some weird features, like things that are unexplainable that then are explained, and it's like it blows your mind. I still don't think that I'd follow any faith, but I understand why people have faith. Personally, I wouldn't be able to.
Look, that was I gave you a few of them, right? This website. Yeah. If you go to this website, actually, right? Let me go to the proofs. Okay. This website has a list of 101 of these proofs. Okay. And you could sit there and go through every single one of them, if you please, right? And the more that you read through them and you see the things that were said, the less likely it is or that you're going to be able to just brush it away. Because how is it the case that somebody, this is just 101 of them. This is a non-exhaustive list, right? Meaning that there's more. You understand? So the more you read through them and you see these different evidences that, you know, you could provide for the religion, the less likely it is that you're going to be able to just brush it away. Because how is it the case that somebody's going to be able to consistently keep telling you things about the future without actually having any knowledge of it whatsoever himself? You understand? Yeah. If you keep guessing and guessing and guessing, eventually you're going to get something wrong, right? Right. But if we find that there's nothing wrong in what he's saying, and we see hundreds, if not thousands of these statements being made, right, then there's got to be some other explanation that we give, right?
Yeah.
Right. So my recommendation to you, maybe if you want to go look at the website, it's very easy to find. It's called provingislam.com. Okay. All right. And maybe if you ever look into it again, you could always come back and, you know, we could talk about it. If you're not much of a reader, if you prefer to watch videos, you could also find, if you go on YouTube and you type prophecies in Islam, there will be many videos that you could find there as well. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. Feel free to come back if you'd like. You guys could follow, both of you, even your giggly friend in the back who disappeared on us. If you guys want to come back after maybe looking at some stuff, we could always chat, okay?
Yeah.
May Allah guide them, man.